I have got so many more important things to do than plan. I can't tell you how many times I hear I do not have time to plan. Whether you're planning your day, your week, your month, or your year, planning gives you that destination, then you reverse engineer on how we're going to get to that point. That's as simple as it is. Work out where you want to be, then you can plan to get there. No plan, you don't get there. You don't get to the destination. And it's fascinating today for me to share this conversation with you because of some examples that happened this week around planning and poor planning or no planning from people. Let me give you a really simple, first of all, I should actually say, welcome to JTInTheRaw, show 284, where I chew the thin on business, and after 30 odd years in business, I have just a few things to chew. And today's planning discussion comes about through conversations with clients, but also even something that happened with me this week. In fact, just yesterday. So I normally like to have my netball sessions, because I'm a netball coach of our little netball girls in our club, and I like to have a session already planned. So yesterday I planned out this really, what I thought was really good session for one of the teams that I coach, the 13 threes. When I finished that session, I thought that was a productive session. It was useful. It was fun. The kids learnt something. We got organised for what we want to do on the Saturday. And you know what? I finished the session completely unstressed, unfrazzled, dealing with 12-year-old girls. I was completely cool, calm and collected. I then go back to back with another session. And the second team that I coach is the 14 fours. Now for the 14 fours, I had an idea in my head what I was going to do with them. I had an idea of the flow of training, a flow of some drills that I was doing, but I hadn't written them down. It was in my head. 13 threes, written down. 15 fours, up in my head. So really, it was an unplanned session, if I'm totally honest. As a result, I was watching the clock. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do next? And I was second guessing my thoughts. I was second guessing the session. I wasn't giving the girls in front of me all of my attention because I was trying to work out what I was going to do next. And in hindsight, the session, it was not useful for Saturday. We didn't do enough preparation for the game for Saturday because I was unplanned. So here becomes the lesson. When you're going into a day or a week or a month unplanned, you're constantly thinking about what that next step is. But if you've already thought about it and you're already planned, it makes your day, your week, your month, your year easier. Every day, when I get more comfortable with what I'm doing, I will sit down and I will plan what my day looks like. I write my little to-do list. And I go, this is what I'm going to get done at different times. So I plan my day. I plan my week. Long term, plan out a strategy. So for example, with the Fitness Business Podcast, we've got a master spreadsheet. So we plan out who we're speaking to, when we've got to interview them by, in order to get the information done by the day that that show goes live. Then we go back to when we have to contact them. We know the sweet spot of how long that communication takes before we actually get them on. Planning. Without that planning, the Fitness Business Podcast would be a debacle. Without planning, training a bunch of 13-year-olds would be a debacle. Without planning, running a business is a debacle. Running a department is a debacle. So most people tell me, well, I actually don't have time to plan. And I think in all honesty, if we sit down and we open up a book to work with and we start with a blank piece of paper, we go, all right, now we need to plan our strategy. That's really tough. That's really tough. So one of the things I really encourage people to do is do some collection of data, some collection of information before they start planning. Then we can start planning. So here's the thought that I want to share with you today about planning. Whether you're doing it for a day, a week, a month, or a year, or even 5 years, I want you to think, what do I want to achieve at the end of that period? Where do I want to be at the end? Now, what do I need to do to get there? And I need to take into account the factors, the variables. I need to take into factor the account, the data, the numbers. Where are we at now? And this is where I want to get to. I've got a blank piece of paper and I want to have a marketing campaign ready to go in 8 weeks. Okay, well, what do we need to do over that 8 weeks? We've got to get it finished. We've got to get, it's going to take 2 weeks to get to a printer, or it's going to take us 3 days to get it approved on Facebook. So you can work out your timing, then we work backwards. This is what business is all about, ladies and gentlemen. What happens is we thrive on the chaos of what's happening in front of us. We thrive on the endorphins and the adrenaline that's pumping through our body. We can't live off that though. We thrive off it, yes, but we can't live off it. And when we're unplanned, that's what we're living by, that adrenaline pumping through our veins. When we plan, we're far more relaxed, we're far more comfortable because we know where we're heading. So, when people tell me I don't have time to plan, I kind of go, well, what do you have time for? I just don't have time. I've just got to keep working day on day. But what direction are you heading? So I set a challenge for one of my clients this week. And one of my clients this week, I said to them is this. You got some kids. You got 4 kids. We want to send them to private school. So between this date, this year, and this year, we've got to have enough money coming from the business to pay for private school education. The first kid will hit that high school at this age, so we need this amount of money by then, and then we need to have that go up over there. So now we had a finite end. We had a finite end of when we needed a certain amount of income coming from the business. Then we worked backwards. So at this point in the process, we're now collecting the data. We're like looking at some historical data. We're looking at what our sales and our leads and our marketing and our wages. We're looking at our costs. We're looking at our client retention. We're looking at lifetime value of customer. When we've got that, we can then start to plan how we're going to get to this. And that becomes our plan. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you are managing a team, a department, coaching a team, or whether you're in fact leading a business as an owner, the plan is critical in order to give people the direction that they need to stay working with you, to stay on task, to stay focused, and to achieve what we all want, the goal, the destination, where we want to be at the end. Planning is important. And I know there's a cliche that if we don't have time, if we fail to plan, then we plan to fail. I get that, and I agree with that. But I really want to implore you now. It's the beginning of the month. Plan your month. We're coming up to the end of the financial year. Plan your next financial year. Plan, and that will give you the direction that you need to get from point A, where we are now, to point B. That's your job. And as leaders, we must take the lead on planning. We have to propagate that. We have to promote that. We have to start that within our businesses. That's our job as a leader. And our team will look for us to understand the plan and then carry out the plan if we give it to them. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope I've inspired you to perhaps sit down and spend some time planning what your marketing strategy is, planning what your retention strategy is, planning your acquisition strategy, planning your HR strategy. Just goddamn planning. I hope I've inspired you. Thanks for tuning in to JT in the Raw. I come to you same time every week. Next week, I'll be coming from a very different venue. So you'll want to tune in next week's show to see exactly where I will be, because it ain't going to be where I'm sitting right now. So tune in next Friday for where it'll be. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you got some thoughts. Feel free to share it with any of your friends, your colleagues, your workmates on planning and how important planning is in our business. I'm going to catch you on the flip side.